Hi and Assalamualaikum. Welcome to my video. My name is Muhammad Firman bin Ramli and my friends.
My name is Muhammad Nasrun bin Muhammad Jamil.
Today, Nash and I gonna show you how to bake a mouth-watering homemade chocolate brownies. A delicious chocolate brownies will go pretty well as a birthday cake for someone. There are many recipes on the internet, but we choose this recipe because it will go well for someone who loves dark chocolate. Besides, you can add any kind of topping that you may like. The only limitation is your imagination. The ingredients that we're going to use is easy to be found in your nearest grocery store. Now I'm going to run through all the ingredients and all the tools that we're going to be used. The first ingredient is 185 gram butter. Any kind of unsalted butter will do the job. Second ingredient is 185 gram dark chocolate. Any kind of dark chocolate will do. And the third, 85 gram plain flour, 40 gram cocoa powder, 50 gram white chocolate, 50 gram milk chocolate, 3 large eggs. And the last ingredient is 275 gram golden custard sugar. You can mix with white sugar or even dark brown sugar.
Now for the equipment for making the chocolate brownies. Equipment number 1 is knife. Knife used to cut such as dark chocolate and butter. Equipment number 2 is cutting board. Cutting board is a durable board on which to place material for cutting. Number 3 is hob. Hob is used to melt chocolate and butter. Number 4 is sieve filter. Sieve filter used to filter flour and cocoa powder. Next, equipment number 5 is small ball and big ball. Equipment number 6 is electric whisk. Electric whisk used to mix the ingredients that have been mixed into the big bowl. Equipment number 7 is rubber spatula. Rubber spatula used to gently fold the chocolate and the eggy mousses together. Equipment number 8 is pot. Next is baking paper. Baking paper used to cover the bottom of the tin. Equipment number 10 is square tin or round tin. Equipment number 11 is oven. At last equipment is a tight container. A tight container used to keep some brownies for later to eat.
Before we start having fun baking, it is also important to be safe in the kitchen. There are many potential hazards to be aware of, so here are some useful tips for keeping you safe. First tips, always wash your hand. Don't forget, it is important to wash your hands in hot soapy water before and after cooking. Try to use paper towels to dry your hand afterward, because if a dish towel touch any raw meat like egg or juice, it can lead to bad case of food poisoning. Be sure to also clean all your surface and sink where any raw meat or juice may have touched. Tips number 2. Don't let perishable ingredients sit on the counter for too long. Anything that comes from the fridge need to stay in the fridge for as long as possible. So resist the urge to keep egg, milk and other perishable items on the counter when baking. Keep them cool in the fridge instead. Tips number 3. Heat. Baking usually requires you to use an oven or sometimes a stove top. Beware of the stove top and the oven door if they are in use. Use oven glove or cloth to remove hot pots from the stove top or baking pan from the stove. Be careful of steam or hot air when you open the oven door. Place hot food on a stable, heat-resistant surface.
Hazard number 4 is spills. If you spill ingredients on the floor, clean up immediately to avoid slipping. Number 5. Clothing. It's a good idea to wear an apron and closed shoes when you are baking. This will keep your clothes clean and your feet safe from falling objects or spills. It's also a good idea to keep your head tied back away from your face to prevent it from falling into the food you are making. Hazard number 6 is sharp implements and equipment. Baking often requires the use of knife, beaters, mixers and other implements and equipment which could be dangerous. Be aware when using sharp knife. Never put your hand into a mixer and any other equipment that is turned on or moving. Make sure your hand are dry before touching electrical switch. If you do cut yourself, clean the wound and apply a plastic before continuing to bake. Okay, now let's get into the baking process. Step 1. Melt the butter and dark chocolate. Start with the butter and dark chocolate. Make sure the butter is not too hard or too cool. You can take it out of the fridge 30 minutes before you start. Cut it up in small pieces and put them in a bowl. Add the dark chocolate. The easiest thing is to use chocolate drop. But if you can get your hands on those, you can just cut up bar of dark chocolate. Make sure you work with the best quality chocolate, as it obviously makes a big difference in taste. Add the pieces of chocolate to the bowl with butter and put the bowl on a pot with hot water. Make sure the bottom of the bowl does not sit in the water. Let the chocolate and butter melt on a low temperature and stir occasionally. Step 2. Prepare the egg and sugar mix. While the chocolate is melting on the hob, you can prepare the rest of the brownie mix. Sieve the flour and the cocoa powder in a small bowl. Do this by gently shaking the sieve from left to right and back again. This will get rid of any lumps and mix the flour and cocoa powder together. Then, put the bowl to the side. Take a bigger bowl and break 3 large eggs. Whisk the eggs briefly until they form a smooth yellow substance. Then add the caster sugar or a mix of caster, white and dark brown sugar, and whisk until you have a thick like yellow substance which look a bit like a thick milkshake. When you lift the whisk and the mixture leave a trail on the surface for a few seconds, you know the whisk has done the job. It is best to use an electric whisk because it is easy to get the thickness that you need for this gooey homemade chocolate brownies. Step 3. Cool the butter and dark chocolate. When the chocolate and butter are nearly melted, you can take the warm bowl from the hob and stir until you get rid of the last bit of chocolate. By doing this, the chocolate mix will cool more quickly and you don't have any lumps. Step 4 is set out the milk and white chocolate. If you don't have milk and white drops of chocolate, you can cut up some bars of both in small pieces. Put this aside, they will go in at the very end.
Next, part number 5. Prepare the brownies tin. Preheat the oven on 160 degrees and take a square or round tin. Brownies are usually made in square tin, but if you don't have that, a round tin will do. Cover the bottom of the tin with some baking paper. If you have a good tin, you don't need to worry about the side. But if you really not sure, brush a little butter on the side and sprinkle some flour on top. Turn the tin around as you do this, tapping it slightly so that the flour spread over the 4 sides of the tin. Furthermore, part number 6. Fold in the chocolate to the eggy moist. Then comes the most fun and arguably the most important bit. Pour the cool chocolate mix over the eggy substance. You will see the chocolate will disappear to the bottom of the eggy moist, leaving a trail on the surface at the end. Use a rubber spatula to gently fold the chocolate and the eggy moist together. Do this very carefully. You don't want to break the fluffy egg substance. Make gentle move and take your time to do this until you get the brown color mix. Next, part number 7, add the flour and cocoa. Hold the sieve over the bowl and sieve the flour and cocoa a second time. Then very gently mix it under the chocolate and egg mixture. At first, the mixture will seem very dry, but keep folding in the powder until you get a thick, darker brown sticky substance. Then add the bits of milk and white chocolate and fold them under the mix too. Up next, part number 8. Get the tin in the oven. Thus, the mix is now ready to go in the oven. Gently pour the mixture into the tin. Using your spatula, get very little bit in there. Don't forget to taste the mix. You will be excited to taste the baked brownies. Use the rubber spatula to evenly spread the mixture over the tin into the corners and go from side to side to have a flat surface. Put the tin in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes in the middle or closer to the bottom shaft of the oven. Check after 20 minutes, and if the brownies still wobbling in the middle, put it for extra few minutes. The homemade chocolate brownies are ready when you see a glazy shiny surface and when the sides are coming loose from the tin. Before we get into the last part number 9, take it out of the oven and let it cool. Let it cool completely before you take it out, otherwise it might break. When cold, you can flip the tin upside down and take it out if you are not working with a spring tin. And finally, the best part, serve and enjoy your delicious homemade chocolate brownies. Cut the brownies into small squares and serve it on its own or with some vanilla ice cream or raspberry. Thank you so much for watching this video and enjoy your stickiness and sweetness of the homemade chocolate brownies as you climb into the sofa with your best friend and a cup